Hi, and welcome to the Chit Chat with Happy Jack Jack podcast. My name is Jackie Wachter, and I am your host. I'm losing my voice. It's that time of year at Fount where we talk a lot in the stores, and my voice is even raspier than normal. So I'm going to do my best here. I've got my lemon water, and I'm ready to go. So tonight we're going to be talking about parenting stuff. And, parenting is one of my favorite parts of my life, but it is also a challenging part of my life. It is interesting how parenting can really maybe like bring out some triggers in your life. One thing I think about sometimes, I have three very wild and fun boys. They are so fun, but they're also wild and hard to simmer down. So, one of the things that gets me feeling and stressed out and triggering me to like blow up and yell is the mornings. I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but in the morning, I feel very stressed out when we're running late to places or we're last minute, like trying to find a boot or a glove or a hat or, or like homework's not done or like just last minute stuff really wigs me out because it feels, just like it puts a lot of unnecessary stress on the family. One time, our pastor said this thing that a way that you can respect people is by being on time. And so when I'm late to things, it always stresses me out because I feel like I'm not respecting the person's time that I'm going to see. And being on time has been a struggle for me my whole life. So then when you add in three kids to the mix and a dog that comes with me everywhere, it's kind of hard to be on time. So the topic I'm going to talk about today is a system that I developed to help me not yell at my kids in the morning and not get frustrated with myself and my husband and everyone else in between. So these are called chore charts, and I'm going to be sharing them. I also am going to share these on my website, which is happyjackjack.com, and they're free and downloadable. It's just something I made up with emojis. I know you can get chore charts a lot of places. And I started these morning routines with the boys because I've wanted to, since my third son was born, he's 2.5 now. I really wanted to get back into working out in the morning, having a Bible study when I wake up, journaling. I love journaling. It's like therapy for me, but it's really hard to squeeze in now that I'm a mom. And so these chore charts have bought me that time in the morning because my boys can be so much more independent. And when I say boys, I'm referring to the two older ones. They are 8 and 6. This doesn't really work for the 2-year-old yet, but he kind of just follows them around like a little duckling. So it works out. But this morning routine has really been helpful. So it has evolved. It did take us a couple tries. Took us about a year to get it down to a place that it's like actually really working for us. And I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to tell you the tricky parts that we've kind of worked the kinks out on. And then I'm going to tell you about the end goal where it's, help me be able to have time to work out and journal and read in the morning because they're kind of doing their own routine. Of course, my husband is helping too. But yeah, I'm going to get started. Here we go. So, we're going to look at Clive's morning routine. Also, with that said, this is a podcast, but I am also posting it on YouTube because sometimes there are visuals. Like, I'm going to be doing some styling stuff where you'll see my whole closet and outfits and things, and that will be a really fun one to watch. This one is one that you can listen to, and they're going to be visuals that I will shoot you in an email and I'll also have on my website if you want to check out these visuals later. But for those of you on YouTube, I'm going to hold it up to the camera. So Clive's morning routine is very similar to Scout's. Their morning routines are almost identical. The alarm clock goes off at 6:30. This is actually an older version that we started the school year with, and we realized we were still late if we didn't start at 6:30. If we started at 6:45, like what's written on here, we were still late, so we bumped it back to 6:30. But they have an alarm in their room. It goes off. And at nighttime, I put all their outfits out on top of their hamper so they can get their own self all the way dressed. Then they put their pajamas in the hamper. They make their bed. It's Clive's job to turn off the fan, Scout's job to open the curtains, and then they have to take their cup with them down to the kitchen sink. Now, there's boxes here that I put, and this is on a laminated paper. I don't have a laminator. I just got those sticky pages that you can stick on top of anything and laminate it. So I'm going to put that link in the email as well and on the website so you can get all these supplies if you want them. Additionally, when I started this with the boys a year ago, I used these kind of clipboards and just tied some leather on it to hang on a hook. But I did find since then a clipboard that does have a little loopy at the bottom where your dry erase marker can go. So it's all in one place. So you're not like constantly losing the dry erase markers. So I highly recommend the clipboard with the marker loop for sure. But yeah, so moving on. So once they do all that, and they do that on their own, they don't even bug me at all anymore. It was about a week or two of training for them to do this, like me being in the bedroom, be like, okay, check it off, check it off. Oop, what did you miss? Go back. And once they got that figured out, now they just do that whole part all on their own. Then at 7, they go down. Usually they're, since it's at 6:30 now, they get down to breakfast before 7, and they have time to play for like 15 minutes before Philip puts breakfast on the table for them. So they eat breakfast, and while doing that, Philip does a quick little Bible study. When they're done eating, they can ask to be excused, and they have to clear their dishes into the sink. So that's the breakfast category. They put a dot on all of those. And then once they're done with that, they immediately go to wash their hands and face. I'm like a big stickler about not getting sticky fingers all over the house. So they know, like, on autopilot, after you eat and put your plate in the sink, you got to wash your hands after every snack or meal. And then they come up, and I'm upstairs. And this whole time they've been doing this, I've been doing my little morning reading, maybe journaling, and then I do my quick little 20-minute workout. And then by the time they get up there, I'm the one that starts like helping them with brushing teeth, making sure their shirts are tucked in, those kind of things. And then Philip or I will help with styling hair and taking vitamins. So that's the next kind of step. Final steps. This is also part of like the night before we get this part ready. But on the couch, I throw their coats and backpacks in piles so their stuff is all together. And then I check at night that like the gloves did in fact make it back into the bag or the pocket, and everything they have is there that they need. So final steps, they like run, put their stuff on, run to the door, put their shoes on. And if they do this whole morning routine without needing to be reminded or causing a fuss or whatever, they get $1. So every morning they get $1, pretty much guaranteed, because they can do this without even checking off the boxes anymore. At the beginning, we did check off the boxes for at least the first month. Now they know the routine. And so almost every day they're guaranteed at least $1 of their allowance. Okay. So that's that routine. Then underneath, you flip it. When you first get started, you're going to want to really have them go through the check boxes till they memorize it, is the night routine. So I'll go through Clive's night routine. He's only in kindergarten, so he doesn't have a lot of homework. So then usually we'll have him do like an activity, like while Scout's doing homework, he'll do, he could go mess around on the keyboard, piano kind of thing, or I'll put out some like worksheet, or like I've got some kind of like fun learning stuff in our learning cupboard I'll put out for him. Or he can go do a drawing video. He loves those on YouTube. I'll pull it up on my phone and he can like learn how to draw a lizard or whatever, those kind of things. So we'll write those down, and then they can do one or two of those items, and we start that like after dinner time, like 6:15, and then we've got plenty of time. Then after that, we've got tidy up. So any messes they made, any kid related messes are part of this. So if they made a mess in the playroom, they have to clean that. The attic is like that's our kind of bigger playroom where they wrestle and play. And that's where all the costumes are. So that all has to be tidied. And then if it's more like good weather, they have to tidy the outside toys. But try to get them in the habit of like when you leave a space, especially outside, that they're going to tidy that, or leave the attic. They'll tidy that before we leave that area. And then they have to put their school bags on the couch. And then check if they have everything they need for tomorrow. They have to fill their own water bottles, put them back in the bags. And then I have to sign their folders for school. So that's that whole routine. And that is much more than the morning. So I'll get to that at the end. But bedtime. Then they have clothes in the hamper, bath, pajamas, brush teeth, reading time. We try to do 20 minutes total. So that could be like reading alone, or reading to a grown-up, or a grown-up reading to them. and then they get their allowance. And that's $2 at night if they did all the cleaning. Now, sometimes if we were like at a party or out with friends or whatever, or it ended up getting late and they didn't have time to clean, then they'll just get $1. But I'm super strict on that. Like if they're like, oh, we can't get our 2 night dollars. I say, well, we didn't clean. Like, well, we didn't have time to clean. But if you just give them that extra dollar, so it's three total. If they didn't clean, they don't get their extra dollar. And I'm super strict on it because otherwise they're going to try to push me on it all the time. So it's three max. But I'm going to show you this timer, this glorious timer. I use this for so much stuff in my life. If they want to earn extra dollars, then I can let them like help with the laundry or other activities. And for every 10 minutes, they earn $1. Now, some people might think that's too much. Some people might think it's too little. I don't know. But their attention span is usually about 10 minutes. Scout will stay for longer because he's very money motivated. But they'll help me like fold laundry and stuff. And I'll set the timer for 10 minutes. And then this timer will ding. It sounds like adios. Ready? And then when it goes off, then after the 10 minutes, they can decide if they want to stay for another 10 minutes or if they're done. And then they'll get that extra dollar at the end when I give them their allowance at bedtime. But yeah, then we do prayers and then story time and then lights out. But when we give them their allowance, this is something that has also helped me with another parenting trigger. I've heard this phrase triggers, like where you try to think of the reasons like why you get like so angry or upset. You're like, why am I so mad right now? And it's like a reoccurring thing that might be happening that you subconsciously don't realize frustrates you so much. But one trigger I had was that my kids were asking for so much stuff. And I think part of it is this like Amazon culture where you ordered something one day and the next day it's here. Like back when we were kids, you got presents at Christmas and your birthday. And that was pretty much it. You didn't get like stuff all year round. Like the kids will be like, they'll think of a costume they want or a toy they want, and they can just get it the next day. And it's so different than when we were kids. So I think I get frustrated with that mentality of like them wanting so much stuff. It gets exhausting. And the allowance has really helped them. So I'm going to show you their allowance box now. This is Clive's box. My mom actually bought these for them because we were doing a wallet system. So we've tried a few systems. Like I said, we've been working on developing this system for over a year, and it's improved. And if you have any tips or feedback for me, I would love to hear them because I think we are going to keep evolving this system. But at first, when they were getting their dollars, we were rolling them into groups of 10 and then rubber banding them. But then they were really hard when they wanted to go actually use them. They were all rolled up, and curly. So then we started a different system. This is Clive's money in his money box, where when they get stacks of 10, we actually put bobby pins on them. Like I get these long bobby pins. I actually had these for my hair when I was like trying a hair thing. But they work great for this. So when you get stacks of ones in groups of 10, it's really easy for them to then count their money. I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $1. So they can very quickly count their money if it's organized. But what I was going to say about that, with back to that trigger of kids spending too much money, the allowance has been great because they each have a little wallet. And if we're going somewhere, like say we're going to like Sky Zone or a birthday party or something, and they're going to want to play at the arcade after, or they're going to want to buy a slushie, usually that would be money that they'd be asking me for, like, oh, can I go to the arcade? And they don't understand that, like, when you spend $20 at the arcade and it takes you 5 minutes to spend that or 10 minutes to spend that, they don't understand the value of $20. But now that they're earning their own allowance, they're starting to learn the value of it. So when we go somewhere like that, I say, hey, okay, there are going to be arcade games there and there might be slushies or whatever. If you're going to want something, bring your money. And then I usually tell them, like, you might spend at the most $10 or $20. Don't bring more than that just in case you lose it, and then they bring that amount of money. Because one time our oldest son, Scout, he had worked so hard and he had saved almost $200 and he had it all in his wallet. And for some reason, he decided to bring it trick-or-treating and it fell out along the journey. And luckily, a very nice person found it in their bushes, and it was next to, and it was a neighbor's house. where we were like at the trick-or-treating party. Anyways, his money came back to him. It was a miracle. But I told him, you're not always going to be that lucky. So we've also learned a lesson with that, to write their name and my phone number in their wallet. But yeah, it has really helped when we go places. All of a sudden, that slushy they needed, they go and they see that it's $5 or $6 or whatever it is. And suddenly they're like, oh, maybe I don't need that slushy because that's 2 days of allowance. So it's really helped them to get a better understanding of what money, how money works, and how fast money can come and go. And it's really given them more of a respect for it. In fact, it's pretty cool. They've been saving. And once Scout, we really started hardcore, like being committed to doing like daily allowance, because in the past I've slipped up on it and like forgotten to do it, or I run out of ones. And then it like sort of loses its value, and all of a sudden the playroom's a mess and they're not doing the chore chart, and I'm having back to barking orders in the morning routine or in the night routine. But I found the more consistent I am, to do the nightly allowance and check if they did their routines, the more they respect the system, right? Which is really cool. So yeah, it's really been awesome for our family, and has helped the morning go really smooth, because I realized that, like I said before, it's a triggering time for me, and a stressful time for them too, and in our night routine, it's helped us too. So one more thing about this is pretty cool. It's also helped like our boys, specifically Clive, our middle, who's in kindergarten. I've noticed like he is really doing well with his numbers, because every night when he's adding those $3 in, we try to work on a ledger. We're not always the best at keeping up with the ledger, but he'll, write it down. He'll write his number and then he'll add. So he had $101, and then he added three. So then he was at 104, which is really, really cool, because it has helped him understand number concepts, like adding, like when you count those stacks of tens, he's learned how to count by tens really well. And then, oh, if I get $3 more, I get another 10, or, those different things. It's really been great, because the math skills that come with this are also a huge benefit. So anyways, this is just a great parenting hack and system that I've been working on with our family, that I've shared with a couple of my girlfriends, and they have really loved it as well. And I hope it can help you and your family out too. I'm not sure how this is going to look as my kids get older, as if it evolves. And then I can add more things to their list, like, maybe bringing in the trash or vacuuming or emptying the dishwasher, stuff like that. But yeah, if you have any tips or tricks you'd like to add, I would love to hear them. I'm a big fan of systems. They help me. I'm known for my ADHD. You really struggle to keep a system. So once we find one that works, it's really exciting to stick with it. So this is one we have stuck with and we are proud of. I will say one more tip: tie the keys on. Clive lost his first set of keys. Luckily, my mom is very organized and she had an extra set of keys at her house. So now we keep his tied on there. Scout is a little better. He's 8, so he's a little better at keeping track of his stuff. So this is his box. They're different colors. And he likes to keep his key in a secret spot. But this has been cool too, because the boys have saved so much money that they bought everyone on their Christmas list gifts. And I think that meant more for them too, because I took them shopping. We just went to Mark's, so it wasn't going to cost them a fortune, but they were able to pick out something for each of their brothers and their grandparents and their aunts and mom and dad, and they were able to spend their own money. And I think that made them so proud of that gift. So, money is something that's tricky for kids and grown-ups to conceptualize, how fast it comes and goes out of your hands. And I think it's a cool thing to teach it to your kids young. So I hope this was helpful, and we'll be back next week with more Happy Jack Jack Chit Chat. Next week is more fashion focused. So I'll see you then, and I hope you have a great week. If you would like to have these downloadables, they are, like I said, on my website, happyjackjack.com. And then also you can subscribe there to my email list, where you'll get a weekly update on what was on the podcast and any other fun tips and tricks I have as a working mom with 3 boys and just trying to squeeze the most out of life and have fun while we do it. Okay, I hope you have a great week and thanks for tuning in tonight. Bye.